And that's how Robert Mondavi wine is made, from raw materials to the final product. Robert Mondavi Winery is an icon of Napa Valley, a place where art, food, and wine unite.
But behind the serene architecture lies an industrial powerhouse, capable of processing millions of tons of grapes.
To meet global demand, modern winemaking marries ancient tradition with cutting-edge agricultural engineering. Before the first grape arrives, the facility stands ready, a cathedral of stainless steel designed for absolute hygiene.
Trucks arrive in a continuous stream, delivering tons of fruit harvested just hours ago.
Speed is critical. Once picked, the grapes must be processed immediately to prevent premature fermentation.
A journey from vine to vat begins with the crush, initiating the transformation of fruit into fine wine.
Every harvest begins with a logistical crusade, coordinating hundreds of tons of fruit arrival by the minute. Before a single berry is crushed, absolute precision in weight and yield must be established. The human element is the gatekeeper of quality, verifying sugar levels before the process begins.
Sugar content, or Brix, is the fuel for the fermentation engine that drives the factory forward.
Gravity does the heavy lifting as the raw material enters the stainless steel nervous system of the plant. The Archimedes screw ensures a consistent feed rate, preventing jams in the crushing equipment downstream.
Even with automation, the human eye remains the most sophisticated tool for spotting imperfections.
Inside the destemmer, centrifugal force violently strips the grapes from their stalks in milliseconds.
Upon arrival, the fruit is immediately introduced to the crush pad's destemming system, ensuring minimal oxidation before processing begins.
Advanced centrifugal beaters gently liberate the berries, discarding the stems, which would otherwise introduce harsh, vegetative flavors.
Positive displacement pumps transport the must gently but firmly, preserving the integrity of the fruit skins for the fermentation ahead.
Here in the fermentation cellar, scale meets precision, with millions of gallons housed in temperature-controlled stainless steel.
Cultured yeast strains are introduced to ensure a consistent, clean fermentation profile that aligns with the winery's signature style.
As fermentation accelerates, carbon dioxide pushes the skins to the surface, forming a dense cap that must be managed to extract color and tannin. Regular pump-overs, or remontage, break up the cap, submerging the skins to leach out the deep red pigments and structural tannins.
Precise temperature control is vital. Glycol jackets wrap the tanks to dissipate the immense heat generated during peak fermentation.
Inside these stainless steel giants, the transformation begins, controlled by a precise network of thermal regulation systems.
Carbon dioxide pushes the skins to the top, forming a dense cap that must be constantly managed.
To extract color and flavor, we perform a pump-over, bathing the skins in their own juice.
Even with millions of gallons in play, temperature is monitored to within 1/10 of a degree.
At the microscopic level, yeast consumes the sugar, converting the sweet juice into dry wine.
Once fermentation is complete, the pneumatic press gently separates the wine from the skins.
Leaving the noise of the factory floor, the wine enters the quiet sanctuary of the barrel room.
Here, the wine will rest in French oak for up to 2 years, gaining complexity and structure.
Upon arrival, the grapes enter the receiving hopper, where a high-torque auger screw ensures a consistent feed rate into the...
Advanced optical sorters scan each berry, utilizing compressed air to instantaneously reject any material that...
The destemmer removes the woody stalks gently, ensuring that only the fruit and juice proceed, preventing...
Positive displacement pumps transfer the must through large-bore piping, moving the liquid gently to avoid shearing the skins or bruising the seeds.
For our reserve wines, fermentation takes place in large French oak vats, allowing for better thermal inertia and early integration of oak tannins.
We utilize a cold soak process for several days, chilling the must to extract deep color and complex.
Regular pump-overs circulate the juice over the cap of skins, a vital step to extract the structure and color that define a Robert Mondavi Cabernet.
Drinks. During peak fermentation, this hall houses millions of liters of wine.
Inside the tanks, a violent transformation occurs on a microscopic scale. Yeast cultures consume the natural sugar.
To control this exothermic reaction, glycol jackets wrap the tanks in a layer of ice-cold fluid.
Technicians initiate the pump-over process multiple times a day by circulating the juice over the skins.
Samples are drawn daily and rushed to the on-site laboratory. Here,
Once the free-run juice is drained, the remaining skins are transferred to the pneumatic press. Gentle air pressure squeezes.
Miles of sanitation-grade piping connect the fermentation hall to the aging cellars. Powerful pumps move the
The wine enters the barrel room, a sanctuary of silence and shadow. Here,
The environment here is artificial and exact. Humidifiers keep the air thick with moisture,
Inside these stainless steel cathedrals, the primary fermentation begins, transforming sugar into alcohol under strictly controlled thermal conditions.
To extract the deep color and tannins characteristic of Robert Mondavi Cabernet, the juice is pumped over the skin cap continuously.
Precision is paramount. Computerized systems monitor the temperature of every tank to within a fraction of a degree. Once fermentation concludes, the new wine travels through miles of piping, moving toward the next stage of its evolution. Here, in the vast barrel rooms, the wine will rest for up to 2 years, absorbing flavors from premium French oak. Cellar teams patrol the stacks daily, ensuring the integrity of the cooperage is maintained during the long aging process. As wine evaporates through the wood pores, workers must top off each barrel individually to prevent oxidation.
samples are drawn regularly and subjected to rigorous laboratory analysis to track the wine's development.
Cultured yeast strains are introduced to the must, triggering the biological alchemy that converts natural sugars into alcohol. As fermentation accelerates, carbon dioxide pushes skins to the surface, forming a dense cap that must be managed carefully.
African-American male technicians initiate a pump-over, circulating the juice over the skins to extract the deep red color and structural tannins.
Glycol-filled jackets wrap the tanks, maintaining precise temperatures to prevent the wine from stewing in its own heat. Daily samples are analyzed for sugar depletion, allowing winemakers to track the fermentation's progress with absolute precision. The remaining skins go to the pneumatic press, where a gentle squeeze extracts the robust, tannic press wine. The wine is racked into French oak barrels, beginning a maturation process that will marry the flavors together. Here in the barrel room, thousands of gallons of wine sleep in silence, slowly developing complexity over the next 2 years. Inside these stainless steel cathedrals, the temperature is monitored to within 1/10 of a degree to preserve the volatile aromatics.
To extract the deep color and structure, the wine must be circulated over the skins in a process called remontage.
Samples are drawn hourly, allowing enologists to track the conversion of sugar into alcohol with microscopic precision. Using high-torque centrifugal pumps, the wine is racked off the heavy sediment, traveling miles through the facility's circulatory system. The remaining skins are subjected to a gentle pneumatic squeeze, extracting the tannic press wine that adds backbone to the blend. The young wine enters the barrel room, a humidity-controlled sanctuary where it will rest for the next 18 to 24 months. Each barrel is crafted from specific forests in France, the wood grain selected to impart subtle notes of vanilla and spice.
Operators fill thousands of barrels by hand, ensuring each vessel is topped off to minimize oxygen exposure.
Inside the cellars, thousands of barrels rest for up to 24 months, allowing the wine to breathe through the oak pores. Staff constantly monitor the seals, as even a microscopic gap could introduce fatal levels of oxygen to the vintage. Racking moves the wine off the heavy sediment, naturally clarifying the liquid before it moves to the final blending stages.
Every lot undergoes rigorous chemical analysis, ensuring that the acidity and pH levels remain within a perfect, narrow window.
Before bottling, the individual barrel lots are combined in these massive tanks to achieve the signature Mondavi consistency. Advanced filtration systems scrub the wine of any remaining solids, polishing it to a jewel-like clarity. The packaging line begins with a high-pressure air rinse, ensuring every bottle is pristine before a single drop of wine enters. Nitrogen is injected to banish oxygen, immediately followed by the wine, filling hundreds of bottles every minute with zero spillage.
Time becomes the most critical ingredient. In these climate-controlled halls,
through the micropores of the wood, the wine breathes. This controlled exposure to oxygen softens the harsh tannins and marries the flavors.
Evaporation claims a portion of the vintage every week. Topping off is a constant ritual, ensuring no air pocket can spoil the developing wine.
Periodically, the wine is racked. While the barrels offer romance, the laboratory offers truth. Every batch is chemically fingered.
the final artistry happens in the blending tanks. Here, distinct varietals are married together to create this.
On the bottling line, speed and hygiene converge. Bottles are rinsed, sterilized, and nitrogen purged in fractions of a second.
Precision nozzles fill hundreds of bottles per minute. The tolerance is measured in millimeters, ensuring every customer receives exactly the same amount.
Beneath the winery, the architecture of patience takes over. Here, thousands of barrels facilitate a slow, evaporation creates voids that must be filled. Topping off is a perpetual, manual labor that defends the vintage against oxidation. When aging is complete, the wine enters a complex network of transfer lines, moving from the intimacy of the barrel to the scale of the blending tank.
To achieve perfect clarity, the wine passes through ceramic membranes in a cross-flow filtration system.
Beneath the crushing pads, the wine enters a period of quiet transformation, resting in French oak to develop structure and complexity. Through the pores of the wood, the vintage breathes, softening its tannins and absorbing the toasted character of the barrel. Periodically, the wine must be racked, moved from one barrel to another to separate it from the sediment settling at the bottom.
While the barrels sleep, the lab never rests, analyzing acidity, pH, and alcohol levels to ensure.
Before bottling, the wine passes through advanced cross-flow filters, removing even the smallest impurities to achieve crystal clarity.
Individual lots are brought together in massive blending tanks, marrying flavors from different vineyard blocks into the final signature profile.
The bottling line roars to life, a high-speed river of glass prepared to receive the finished vintage.
Each bottle is inverted, rinsed, and sparged with nitrogen to ensure a completely oxygen-free environment for the wine.
Automated sealing units process 300 cases per hour, applying tamper-evident tape that ensures the wine's integrity during global shipping.
Robotic arms build pallets with geometric precision, utilizing interlocking stacking patterns to prevent shifting during the long journey to distributors.
High-tension shrink wrap secures the load, creating a weather-resistant barrier that protects the vintage from humidity and dust.
The distribution center covers 4 acres, a climate-controlled cathedral where millions of bottles wait for their specific shipping windows.
Every day, a fleet of temperature-controlled trucks arrives to carry the finished vintage to ports and distributors across the continent.
Loadmasters calculate weight distribution to the kilogram, ensuring the truck remains balanced for its journey through the mountain passes. As the sun dips low, the cargo begins its journey, carrying the essence of this specific terroir to tables around the world. And that's how Robert Mondavi wine is made. From raw materials to the final product. Logistics teams coordinate the movement of thousands of cases daily, ensuring the supply chain never breaks.
A dedicated fleet of temperature-controlled trucks prepares to distribute the vintage to markets around the globe.
Automated systems secure every pallet, guaranteeing that the wine arrives at its destination exactly as it left the winery.
Leaving the estate, these bottles carry the legacy of the harvest to tables around the world.
As the sun sets, the facility quiets down, though the biological processes of aging continue in the dark.
While the trucks depart, the next vintage sleeps in the cellar, slowly maturing in French oak.
The result is a complex, balanced wine that reflects both the terroir of the valley and the precision of the factory.
And that's how Robert Mondavi wine is made, from raw materials to the final product.